Close all the curtains. Stay on the phone. We are the monsters holding you still. We are the gallows up on the hill. Answer the question. Is God on your side? We'll be together, whether rebel tide. We are the monsters. There's no place to hide. Under your bed, we hide in the dark. We are the monsters, an army of one. We are the monsters, a hole in the sun.
Every morning for 3 months, Larissa Rodriguez woke up to a new day, opening the blinds, looking out to see the sun had risen again, going about her morning routine, getting dressed, waking up her children, and going about her day. With it, bringing second chances, a new start, as every new day does for all of us. Every evening for 3 months, Larissa would put her children to bed, make her way to her bedroom, close the blinds, turn off the light, and crawl into bed herself, eventually drifting off to sleep. I wonder what she dreamt about those 3 months. I wonder if she dreamt about Jordan. Who is Jordan, you ask? Jordan is Larissa's 5-year-old son. You see, Jordan's broken and starved little body was buried in Larissa's backyard, and Larissa knew it because she helped put him there. Larissa Rodriguez's life has been marked by upheaval and turmoil. Larissa, along with her siblings, were victims of generational trauma and violence. They endured horrific and instability, which ultimately led to them being separated into the foster care system. At some point, Larissa was adopted, but being adopted did not mean rainbows and butterflies for her. In fact, she lodged her own complaints of against her adoptive parents in 1998, which were ultimately dismissed. Larissa acted out repeatedly, ran away, and at the age of 14, she became pregnant. She went through with the pregnancy and gave birth to her first of many children, a son named Angel Alvarez. Fast forward to 2007, her adoptive mother, Emma Rojas, was brutally stabbed to death by her boyfriend. According to Larissa's sister Anna, their adoptive mother struggled with addiction, and her boyfriend had a violent past, apparently killing a previous girlfriend. Emma, who had a total of 12 children, dated this guy anyway, knowing of his past, which caught up with her when he murdered her as she was leaving a hair salon. He stabbed her numerous times. She ended up staggering into a nearby Walgreens, begging for help, but died 4 hours later at the hospital. As was her childhood, Larissa's adult life was anything but stable. She would be in and out of relationships, giving birth almost every year, ending up with a total of 10 children, almost all of them having different fathers. 18 complaints of child neglect or abuse were reported against her, dating back to 1999, right after she gave birth to her first son, Angel. 13 of those complaints led to formal investigations. She has been connected to incidents of assault, domestic violence, and a missing persons case. Larissa was an absolute train wreck, living in disgust and squalor. Her homes were filthy, loaded with rodents and infested with bugs. How she had custody of any of her children is unbelievable. But, as I came to find out, Larissa was scheming with a corrupt social worker. That's why she still had some of her children. That scheming would lead to one of the most horrific child murders in Ohio history and would blow the lid off the filth and disgust going on behind the walls of this horror house on West 80th Street in Cleveland. Jordan Rodriguez was born November 5, 2012, in Cleveland, Ohio, to Larissa Rodriguez. Not much is known about his father. He apparently had no involvement in Jordan's life. Jordan was born 26 weeks premature and missing a kidney, but this little guy was a fighter, and against the odds, he was able to leave the hospital. It was later found Jordan was mute. He could not speak. He could not cry. The thought of what he went through in silence is almost too much for me. Little Jordan wanted to live. He deserved to. Unfortunately, he was born into absolute chaos and horrific living conditions, devoid of love and safety. In all of my videos, I think it's important to take a minute and pay tribute to the littlest victims. I'm usually able to find photos and sometimes videos of the child where I try to bring them to life and honor them. For precious Jordan, I could only find 3 photos. It brings tears to my eyes in today's society with so much technology and the fact that Larissa had a Facebook page. I wasn't able to find any more photos of Jordan. But he is important to me, just as any other victim I cover. So I decided to write him this poem and honor him that way. Sweet Jordan, you lived your life in silence, never able to cry. I can't imagine the terror and sorrow. I just don't understand why. I wish I could have saved you. I wish you could have felt love. But I know you're free now, sweet boy, in the beautiful skies above. Your time here was horrific. You did not have a voice. So I want to tell your story, since you were never given the choice. We hear you, Jordan. We'll be your voice. And let them not forget. You mattered, deserved better, and justice you will get. Christopher Rodriguez was another one of Larissa's many live-in boyfriends. Although they have the same last name, they were not married. There is not a lot of information available on Christopher, but from what I could find, he was a loser without a job, a huge temper, and a deadbeat dad. He had other children and was ordered to pay child support, but wasn't supporting his children in any way. But this was a knight in shining armor to Larissa. She thought it was a great idea to invite this dirtbag into her home and around her children. Larissa's children were already suffering living with her as their mother. Then she decides things must not be bad enough. Why don't I bring in Satan himself? It's not clear how long Christopher was living with Larissa and her children, but during that time he was abusive to her and her children. Like we see in so many cases with CA, there was one child that was singled out, one child that got the worst of it. That child was little Jordan. Jordan, who fought so hard as a baby to live. Jordan, who had no voice, one kidney, and was special needs. That is who this coward of a man, a real tough guy, thought he would take his wrath out on. Larissa went right along with it. She never protected Jordan. She wasn't doing anything to stop it. Prior to Christopher coming into the picture, family members state Jordan at least looked healthy. I'm sure living with Larissa, he was suffering mentally and emotionally. But prior to Christopher's arrival, he at least physically looked well. Christopher and Larissa starved Jordan, locked him in the closet. Christopher would beat Jordan and shove a sock in his mouth. This horrific treatment would go on and on until Jordan's little body could not take it any longer, and he passed away. Christopher and Larissa put mothballs in his mouth, wrapped a diaper around his head, shoved his broken body in bags, and buried him in the backyard like a dog buries a bone. Christopher would end up getting arrested, not for what happened to Jordan, but for not paying child support. He ended up in jail, but him and Larissa kept their romance going, and Larissa would make sure he had money and care packages while he was in prison. Yep, you heard that right. While precious Jordan lay decomposing in her backyard, she was preparing care packages for her precious Christopher.
Western Union her some money.
Calls are subject to recording and may be monitored. You may start your conversation now.
I love you.
I love you.
I got an idea. I don't know if it'll work though.
Sure.
Does Carl got a debit card or a credit card or anything?
I think so. She did it before.
Because I was wondering if you could call her and see if you Western Union her some money. You know what I mean? And then her put the money on my books. If they got your credit card number already, it'll be her credit card number. You know what I mean? So
That's not that. It's the account number.
What do you mean? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if you wire her the money, and she uses her own card and account number, do you think it'll work?
But she'll be using the same phone number as mine, in which mine is the same phone number on my account.
No. What I'm saying is that, remember how you put the money on my books and I bought the $5 phone cards?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm saying. If you have her put the money on my account using her credit card or debit card, then all I got to do is go to the kiosk machine and buy the $5 phone times, and it'll be 21 cents a minute for us. You see what I'm saying?
I don't know. I can see.
Because I was just thinking about that while I was, connecting us. I was like, well, wait a minute. They got Dave's account number and her phone number. so they're gonna block it, you know. But if you have car put the money on my account with her account number, then I'll be able to go buy the phone time from the kiosk, and it'll be a lot cheaper. We'll have a lot more money to talk to each other.
I can see what she says. You know, I saw you right when you got into the court.
Hello, this is a free call from
I love you, my sexy soulmate.
an inmate at Medina County Jail. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept this free call, press 1. To refuse this free call, press 2. Thank you for using CRIES. You may start the conversation now.
Hi, beautiful. Just want to tell you I love you, gorgeous.
I love you too.
You okay?
Why would you do that when you see I'm clean?
You okay?
No, Bubba don't want to help do nothing.
Well, tell him he ain't going to car. That's exactly why he ain't going nowhere. Tell him exactly what I just said.
Because me and Mar was just telling him before you called, and we said, wait till Dad calls, and next you know, here you go calling.
Tell him I said get the up if he wants to go to cars and clean now.
I said, if you want to go to cars, you better get fucked up and clean. Kathy, she's being lazy, like normal, not doing nothing. Mar's making some ramen noodles for everybody. I took down the curtains that are in the playroom, and you know the black and white shower curtain thingy?
Yeah.
I put that one towards the outside of the big window.
Mm-hmm.
I put that one there. And then I put some other flower one that I had found in the closet upstairs on the side window.
Okay.
Get the cracked ones out of there, and I'm throwing those ones away.
Okay.
But I was wiping down the walls and stuff.
Well, I just wanted to go and tell you I love you, and they're getting ready to lock us down till 1 o'clock. And I'll chirp you because I'm going to try to save the rest of this for later tonight so I can talk to you. I got $5 left on the kiosk. You know what I mean? I at least want to save like $2 for tomorrow morning to talk to you, too.
Okay.
I just wanted to hear my wife's voice and let you know, like, I'm always thinking about you guys. I miss you.
We always thinking about you, too. We miss you.
I can't wait till you get your letter, either tomorrow or Tuesday, so you can see the tattoo I'm going to get. And that's going right over my heart.
Oh, yeah?
Mm-hmm. I told you I'm covering everything up. My wife and my kids is going to be the only thing on my body.
Yeah, same here.
But the one that's on my heart right now, that's getting covered up by the one that I just sent you. Okay? I love you, my gorgeous soulmate.
I love you, too.
Thank you for everything.
You don't have to thank me. That's part of being a wife.
I love you. And you ain't never got to worry about me going anywhere, cheating on you, wanting anybody else. Like, you're all I want, beautiful. I promise you, you hear me?
Yeah.
You feel the same way?
Yes, I do. I know.
I love you.
I love you.
And tell the kids they ain't listening. Tell them I'm hearing everything. So when I get home, they better not be crying for this ass whooping.
Why are you spraying the fucking bleach, dumbass?
Who was it?
Right, you're not supposed to touch the damn bleach.
Mm-hmm.
Move.
Well,
Leave you alone? I'm about to show you leave you alone.
Who said that?
Move.
Smack out of him right now.
I just did.
Talk about leave you alone. Wait till I get home. I swear to God, that little boy's going to be a whole different little kid when I get home. Watch.
Leave her alone. I don't want you next to Tati. You leave her alone. Tati,
Tell Mar out of him for me right now. I need my heavy hand.
Dad say he needs his heavy hand, Mar. Smack boo-boo. Right, he tells both of us when we sit there and discipline him. Leave me alone.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Tell her to smack him right in the mouth.
He says, don't hit me.
Tell her I said smack him right in the mouth. Hard as right now.
I wonder why, because you said, oh, where is mine? She went to the bathroom? Oh, I think she went upstairs.
Well, I love you. Don't let me off here before they,
He got that hand for you. He went to smack Boo-Boo.
tell him good boy.
That's a good boy. That's what you're supposed to do.
Now tell him, go punch him right now for screaming. Right now. Every time Boo-Boo screams, I want him to punch him. Every time Boo-Boo screams, I want Bubba to knock him out.
That's it. Every time Boo-Boo screams like that, he wants you to knock him out.
It's time to tell Bubba it's time for him to show Boo-Boo he's big brother.
At some point, some of Larissa's family started asking questions about Jordan's whereabouts. Larissa would say he was with an aunt or Jordan's father in Texas. What blew this case wide open is a phone call from Pakistan, of all places.
How you doing, ma'am? I'm calling from overseas, but it's kind of I guess I need to talk to like a detective or somebody, or I don't know if you can. Basically, it's kind of messed up the whole situation, but my brother told me something, and I just can't sleep at night as far as, you know, what I don't know. I just kind of feel like I need to say something.
Something for concerning your brother?
Yeah, just
what?
I know. It sounds crazy, but
what district is it? Where does he?
He lives off of Detroit.
What is
so I don't know his
issue?
direct address. Basically, he told me that something happened with one of the kids, and they didn't call the cops, and basically him and his girlfriend buried the kid in the backyard. Now, mind you, my brother is known to lie a lot, so I kind of like blew it off, and I was like, hey, man, I hope that ain't true. It's not his kid, it's one of her kids. What he told me was he came home, his girlfriend called him, he rushed home, and then, like, I think the little boy was like 4 or 5. Now, mind you, I've only seen these kids like one time, so I couldn't tell you who they are, what it is about, but he told me that the boy was unresponsive. And I was like, okay. Well, he's like, well, this kid had a lot of problems. Like he had like one lung and one kidney, and I don't even know if that part is true because I don't know these kids because he's only been with this girl maybe 2 years, and I've been like overseas the whole time. So I only really met her like maybe once or twice in my life. You know?
What is your brother's address?
That's the thing. I don't know his address. I can give you his name though. It's Christopher Rodriguez. And I think you can pull it up that way.
C? Christopher, with a K or a C?
Oh, what a C. Doesn't the story just sound crazy, though? It sounds absolutely insane, right?
Can you spell Rodriguez?
It's a common spelling. RODRIGUEZ.
Okay. Do you know his date of birth?
Yeah, it's 1/12/80. No, I'm sorry, it's not 1/12 at all. I'm about to give you my birthday. It should be 8/11/81, but sometimes it's 8/12/81, so it's one of the two. Because basically, I know it is 8/12, but I know his birth certificate at one point said 8/11, so I don't know which one.
Okay, do you know?
It really goes off of.
Do you know his girlfriend's name?
Yeah, his girlfriend's name is Larissa Rodriguez. We're not married. She just has last name and her name is Larissa. I think it's Larrissa or it's Larissa. Now, mind you, right now he's actually locked up, I think, in Medina County for child support. So he's already. Now, mind you, I don't even know if this is true. I really don't. I just know he told me. I couldn't sleep, and I was just like, "Yo, you need to."
So when did this supposed to happen?
He didn't really give me an exact time frame. He just made it seem like it was like months ago, And that's why I was like, and that's why I was really mad, because I was like, I thought he kind of told me, like, you know, within a day or so, and I was like, wait, you mean this is months ago? And he was like, yeah, man. I was like, what on earth would make you not call the cops or call the ambulance?
When did he tell you that? When was it that he told you that? When did he tell you that?
He told me right before he went in jail. I don't know if that was a couple weeks ago or whatever it was. Whenever he got locked up, that's when he told me. But I didn't, mind you, I didn't really believe him. I was like, there's no way this is true. And then he got locked up the next day, so I could never really confirm whether or not what he told me was either a lie or it was true. But I don't know. I just kind of felt like it needs to at least be looked into, because I really don't feel he's at fault, and maybe I'm being biased because that's my brother, because what kind of mother would bury her kid in the backyard? I don't know what kind of mother would do that. You know? I don't want anybody to possibly turn them in.
I mean,
I don't know.
Things like that happened before. I really, really do appreciate your call and you standing up for what's right.
Oh man, it's just because you know, it's just a sad situation, because I know, and he was crying when he told me, and that's what made me kind of believe sincerity, but I was never able to verify directly. But I know I couldn't sleep at night, and I was like, man, you know what? And then when I told this person, I was like, hey, what do you think? And they're like, oh, I'm going to call the cops. And I'm like, well, man, I was like, I told them, like, hey, I'm getting ready to come back maybe within, I could literally be in Cleveland maybe on Wednesday if everything goes well.
Okay.
Flight and everything. And I was going to just do it in person, but I was like, I'm not going to have that happen and not come from me. And I even told him, too, like, before he went to, you know, when he finally got locked up, I said, hey, man, hearing the story from you directly, he's like, I can take a lie detector test. I know I didn't hurt that kid, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I can prove that. That's a fact. He said, when I came home, the kid was already dead. And I was like, are you serious right now? And then, like, the phone hung up, and then he had to go to court, and then they violated his probation for something. I don't know. And then he ended up going to go in jail for, I think, 90 days for child support.
We're going to have the police check it out, okay? And they tried to get it.
And he told me, all he told me was that the kid was buried in the backyard. Now, that's all I know. And she had so many
backyard.
kids. Yeah, right in his backyard. And that's all he said. He's like, we buried him in the backyard. But the kid in question, I don't know what his name is, but I guess he has a lot of problems. So I guess the only way to really figure it out is figure out how many kids he actually has, and then figure out which one's missing. Because what he did tell me that made me kind of believe his story was, he said him and his girlfriend told the older kid that he was staying with her sister, who also has a special needs kid, and that way they don't question it. You see what I'm saying? Like this, and I was like, it just
okay. So I don't know. They may think that he's with her sister. Right.
Exactly. So the older kids might actually think, hey, this, you know, he's with his.
Okay.
So they might not question things.
Police then went to Larissa's home to investigate the claims from Christopher's brother. Police eventually got a warrant to search the backyard and eventually found little Jordan. It was determined that when Jordan died, he weighed only 15 pounds. He was 5 years old. He also had some broken bones, so it was obvious CA had taken place. Larissa was arrested and charged with Jordan's death. Christopher was already in jail, but he was charged as well. Larissa's family gave an emotional interview, sharing their feelings on Larissa and what happened to Jordan.
And if I get the option to put her down forever, that's what I'm going to do.
Again, if a dog bites a person, the dog gets put to sleep.
Ohio
just for biting
don't have
somebody.
That law. Ohio don't have
Just for
that
biting
law.
somebody. But you're telling me that you got people out here killing the kids, doing
beating
whatever to
them
the
to
kids,
death.
and some of them, like guy breaks a little girl, gets 5 years. You know, a guy gets caught with some weed, getting 18 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
the system is messed up.
The way that I think the way they should do it is, if you put a dog to sleep for biting somebody, why would we not put somebody for killing a kid? Not only killing the kid.
But taking the
Putting this
remains.
kid, putting the kid remains somewhere else. Be there. Looking at your window, knowing that kid is there, not say nothing. I think it should be the same treatment as the dogs do.
There's no
Plain and
justice
simple.
for kids.
I mean,
Because the kids can't speak
that's
out.
a kid, man. Kids are gonna play. Kids are gonna get dirty. That's what kids do. I know I did when I was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry that you ended up with a mother like her.
If they leave them in the county, they'll get placed in
Same
separate
thing
homes.
is going to happen to them. What happened to
Same
us?
thing that happened to you guys is gonna happen to them.
I don't know. I would like to keep them together if we could.
And like I said, me and Michelle are gonna try our best
Look,
for
I'm willing to
whatever
take
we
them
can.
too.
You know, I got a big home here. You know, they can come here. Half can
got
come
West
here, half
Texas.
can go to Michelle's house. But we'll work something out.
Larissa, please. I'm begging you, please.
And I have no words for her.
Call me. I will go and put money on my phone for you to call collect. Let me know where the rest of he is. Confide in me. I'm not going to be any madder than what I am. It's already done and did. I just want to give him the proper burial respect, man. That he deserves. That's it. I will get him cremated and he could be with the family that actually loves him. Please, say something. Please. Stop lying already. You're supposed to help your kids, not hurt them.
I don't have words for her. I can't even deal with her. I had all of them at one time. Every time she popped a baby out. They all came to my house and stayed with me 4 days. Every time.
Is she pregnant now?
Well, that's what she said.
That's what we heard.
I don't know if she says it is true. She
I
had
don't
never
know.
lied about that one.
Probably is, though, because she gets pregnant every year.
Yeah, but that's not counting the miscarriages she had. That's not counting the DNCs she had. Yeah, the abortions. So she would have a lot more. A lot more.
I just want you to think about what you're doing, man. You literally followed Mom's footsteps.
Identical to her. Identical.
Like-
I wish you would.
You could have let a man in that would have killed you and all your babies. I mean,
She
come
would've-
on.
I think she would have been next. That guy would have killed her. Yeah, but it's going to be an ongoing
I
investigation
want-
because
and
they
I-
want all the body parts.
and I just
before
wanna
we
say-
can actually cremate.
Mildred, honestly, the blame here is CDFS.
Like, if you would have went to the home and would have kicked the door in, try to
And
get the
then it would
kids,
have been our fault.
we all would have went to jail. You know what I'm saying? Even if we try to save the kids, we
Because
get blamed for it.
I went
You know
over
what I'm
there and he wouldn't let me in. And I said, I'm her sister. I went with bags for the kids. And he wouldn't let me in the house.
But me, it was a whole different story. He's a
Well, you're
tough
a
guy. Tough guy. But he would not come to the freaking door. I had to get on Larissa's face for him to come to the door. Once he came to the door, I was able to reach in and grab him.
It's that man. That man and my sister. That man put a sock in my nephew's mouth. Because I never seen my sister discipline her kids like that, ever. When I say never, she ain't never had a sock in that little boy's mouth. That's him. And I know it's you, and I know you chopped the body up, and I'm gonna find your sorry.
Kid, that kid had nobody to protect him.
No, innocent.
And he couldn't even speak at that.
And he had no voice.
No. It's the sad part.
That's...
And child services are supposed to be protecting our kids. They're supposed to be the voices. They're supposed to be the ones that, oh, hey, you can't speak? Sign language. Where it hurts? Where? Show me. Where's your boo-boo? They know boo-boo. They
Jordan
fall.
would straight tell you too. He point. That's
He
what I'm
was
saying.
smart.
When I called kids the first time on her, I told the worker to take Jordan into a room, and I told the worker that he couldn't talk to pinpoint the body. Now if they did that or not, I don't know.
I don't think they even did.
But like I said, if they would have went there all these times, like it says recently,
3
they
months
would have
ago.
realized that Jordan was not there. And they would have asked for an address and a phone number and all that in Texas where this supposedly aunt is. When you know damn well that everyone knows that there ain't no family for him.
Yeah, she knew. How do you not know your child is missing? How do you not file a report? How do you go to bed knowing what happened to your child?
That you lay down 5 kids every night, but this one you're not laying down. How do you not know?
How do you not shed a tear? How? How is that possible?
She looks crazy on her picture.
She doesn't.
She look like
well.
it don't look. She doesn't look normal.
From all of the reports I read, it was said that Jordan was not. I found it interesting that the family states in this interview he was in pieces, and they wanted to know where the other pieces were so they could give Jordan a proper burial. That was so hard to listen to. The thought of them trying to find all of him, it really messed me up. This was early on in the investigation, so it's possible they did not have all of the correct information on the condition of Jordan's body. But I hope they were able to put Jordan to rest, as he so rightly deserved. It was also disturbing, hearing them talk about Larissa just popping out baby after baby, with no regard to the life she would be able to provide for them. I personally think her children were a means to get money from the state for her, nothing more. Larissa was brought in to speak with investigators in regards to Jordan's death. Here are some recordings of that interrogation.
And if you want to continue this conversation later today, I'm happy to do that. If you want me to pull you back over here, I'm happy to do that. I feel for where you're at, because no woman should ever have to bury their child, and I think you did the best you could with what you had, but that guy was using you.
And that's why I told my sisters too. I said, if I ever get up out of here, I'm not going back. My sister says that they would help me get back on my feet, do what I have to do, because I was always had my own. Always had my kids. My kids have never been a day without me. This is my first Christmas without my kids.
At the end of the day, and I understand how you feel about if I ever get up out of here. I don't know what they're going to charge you with. My suspicion is it's going to be murder B. That's my suspicion.
And what gets me is he's not going to get charged for anything.
Oh, now that's not going to be true. And that's not going to be true.
And what is murder B?
It's causing the death of another without a plan to actually do it.
And how much time am I really looking at? Can you tell me?
I can't.
Or just like a kind of, like a...
I would say, honestly, I would say probably double digits.
What's that?
At least in the neighborhood of a double digit. Now, I don't know what happens later on down the line. And I'm not in charge of that. I can only tell you that I had one other scenario that was very similar to this, and that particular female is doing 8 years. But I would submit this to you. Were it me in your shoes, I would be thankful that my children are in homes where the adults can take care of them. This is not going to prohibit you from having conversation with your children. This is not going to prohibit you from having a place in your children's life. You will still have communication with them. And you have a unique opportunity here. It doesn't matter what you do to your children. They will always love you. The important thing here is that you tell the truth, all the truth, even the truth as they see it, for your side of the street. Meaning, if I drank, if I doped, if I didn't keep house, if I didn't put sheets on your bed, if I didn't feed you, if I was overwhelmed, if I didn't do my part to take care of you, then I own that. And
no, just like I take the responsibility. I didn't take him to the doctor. That was my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I didn't call the ambulance when he needed it. That was my fault.
Mm-hmm.
I also had part in putting him there because I just had a baby. Mm-hmm. So, you know, and I'm feeling depressed. I diagnosed with PTSD,
mm-hmm.
you know. And
probably postpartum.
And, you know, I didn't know what to do. You know, I just got scared. And I just was like, you know, and I wasn't ready to let Jordan go because I've been through so much with Jordan. You know, by myself, even before I got with Chris, I was taking him to the doctor. It was a lot, but I was working on getting there because my social worker, my counselor has a preemie. So she was working with me on some things that I could do with Jordan.
Well, let me ask you this. I don't know who Patrick Strawn is. My understanding from you is that this was a one-time liaison with him or a couple of time liaison with him?
Yeah, and then I got pregnant and here comes Jordan and I didn't want nothing to do with him. He didn't want nothing to do with me.
Okay.
So I told him, I sent him back and I told him, you need to go to Texas, back home where, you know, where you are.
So, but my question to you is, not to cut you off, and I know you need to talk about this stuff to get it out. The law says that he has a right to Jordan because he's the father. What that he never comes forward or we don't find him?
He's not going to come forward. He's not.
Then whom would you want to have Jordan? Michelle?
My sister, and I talked to her last night.
Michelle or Anna?
Michelle.
Okay.
Because she's more responsible. Michelle's more responsible. She's the oldest.
So, in the absence of Patrick Strawn, you would want her to have Jordan's remains?
Yes.
And to follow through with what she wanted to do, which was a cremation?
Yes.
And to divide the remains between his siblings?
I think that would be best. I talked to her yesterday, and I told her I was going to let you know that, you know, because we all agree he's never been there. He never wanted no part of Jordan. And even on Facebook, I could even show you from old messages. You know, I sent him pictures of when he was in the NICU. Mm-hmm. I told him when he was born. I didn't have to tell him. Mm-hmm. You know, those are things that even I try to connect with his sister. I didn't get nothing from.
Well, what if they come back and they do want him? Then what?
I doubt it. I mean,
but if they do, then there's nothing we can do.
The problems being, Jordan had an old left wrist fracture. His left wrist was broken at some point and it was healed. It healed on its own. How? That's something you need to tell us. Jordan also has 3 fractured left ribs that healed on their own, and a fractured right rib that healed on its own. And these are all injuries that were healing on their own without medical help, which means he was in a lot of pain for a very long time, and you're not being honest about what was happening to this kid.
See, what happened, I mean, I personally didn't, but I was scared myself, okay?
Scared of?
I think talking to my sisters yesterday actually opened up my eyes a little bit and made me realize I should not be the only one taking full blame for this. I never put my hands on my kids. You can ask any of them. And a lot of people used to tell me maybe that's why sometimes your kids don't listen. You know, sometimes I need to be more rough on them, but that's just not in me. To sit here and
I don't want to be that mother either. I just don't want to be that mother either.
Right, I don't. I mean, I was like that when I was little. I can't be that type of mom to sit there and expect you, okay, my kid may do something wrong, but I see other discipline, timeouts, corner, bedroom, sometimes my Help Me Grow worker even seen it herself. No matter how bad my little ones can act up, I never had that in me to hit my kids. But I think I was just so scared because I used to get my ass beat by Chris just because I defended my kids. My daughter, my oldest son can tell you, my older son had a pull knife on him because he put his hands on me the way he did.
How long were you and Chris together?
About 2 years.
Okay. And he was living with you from day one?
Yeah.
All right. Our understanding is that you were dating someone else who moved out and you met Chris online?
I was with Jake.
Okay.
But Jake wasn't in the house for more than 2 weeks.
Right.
Since when
and he
I
left
first
and then
moved
Chris came in?
Right.
And you met him online?
Yes.
All right.
If he can hit on me and he can discipline my other kids, but he wouldn't discipline them like he did Jordan.
Mm-hmm. How does he discipline Jordan?
It was just different. I mean, as far as how you said the sock in the mouth, none of my kids got the sock in the mouth, only Jordan. And I used to sit there and tell him, don't do that. I used to get yelled at. My kids all can tell you I defended all my kids. And that's where a lot of me and his arguments came in, because I did defend my kids. And that's where he would put his hands on me. He even put a sock in my mouth when I tried to yell for help. I felt like I was stuck. And every time something like that would happen, he would always bring up and make me feel like guilty, like I was the one who did that to Jordan. And I didn't hurt Jordan.
Well, so what, let me just say this. We've seen pictures. Up until Christopher Rodriguez comes in the picture, he's a healthy child.
And he was healthy.
He was healthy. However, for whatever reason, he focused on that child. I don't know what that reason was.
And he tried to keep everybody away from me. I couldn't have friends. I couldn't have family. I couldn't have nobody.
I may have missed this. Did he actually physically abuse him? Did you see him?
A few times that I've seen, yes.
Okay. And what did he do?
He would smack him. He would, me personally, didn't see him fracture anything. I wasn't around, or if I went to the store, or if I, went out with my kids or something.
You won't see a fracture.
You won't. That's why it shocked me, because
it's a compound fracture.
Right, because
you won't see it.
My son had a fracture when he jumped off the bicycle. He was on the bike with my older son. So I know, I took him to the hospital for that fracture.
But a rib fracture? You don't see that.
But see, I wish I would, it was just like Jordan trying to tell me something. When I told you that when he finally took his last breath, it was like he was mad. I seen in his face like he just wanted to tell me something. But I just didn't know what that something was. And with him being speechless, I couldn't understand what it was. But I could tell it was just something so mad, angry. And I thought he, he was trying to cuss me out or something. But I took it as he was just trying to tell me, Mom, I love you, I gotta go, But in my heart, something told me that he had something to do with this. Because every time after this happened, I just hated him. I hated everything. I just couldn't stand to be around him.
Did you ever ask him to leave?
I did. And he told me that if I was to call the cops, that he had the gas in his name, that they would tell me that he resides there, that he can't leave. I just wish I was with Jordan. And he said, what did you say? I said, I wish I was with Jordan. I wish I could take Jordan's place for him. And he was just like, because he didn't like the fact that I used to bring him Jordan. Oh, you don't need nobody hearing, what happened and this and that. He would get pissed off.
What do you think he did to Jordan?
I think that morning, technically, something had to happen. I don't know what it could have been. Something had to happen because Jordan wouldn't just collapse like that. You know, I don't know if maybe he might have pushed him, shoved him, punched him, could have even punched him.
Does he punch him?
Who knows? No, I've never seen him. But I mean, if you're talking about any type of fractures, I mean, who's to say?
There's a big difference between punching a child in the face where you're going to see the mark, or punching a child.
I'm going to interview the other one now.
Okay. Punching a child in the rib cage, and no one sees that. So what I'm saying to you is, this guy's a street dude. He knows how to hit.
Right.
He knows how to hit somebody in soft places with a hard object and not leave a mark. So what did he put a kidney shot on that boy? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who's to say?
What did he was pissed off at that kid for whatever reason, puts a kidney shot on the good kidney, and it's lights out.
Shut down.
Yeah. So now we could be very likely leaning toward a situation where Jordan was beaten to death based upon all these pre-mortem injuries that are in different stages of healing.
And something told me, I don't know what it was, it's just a feeling that he had something to do with this. Because I not once, ever, and as you've seen for yourself, pictures and everything, I've always posted, my kids were always healthy, I've always took care of my kids. I never hit my kids. Everybody used to tell me, even the officer at the house, as you can, he's like, maybe you need a spanking. You know, and that's not in me to do that. You know, when I was little, I got hit with extension cords. I got hit with boards. I had to kneel on rice on a carpet. And I told myself, those are things I never want my kids to go through. Nothing.
I don't want to compel my child through fear.
And I remember he always used to tell me, well, you need to discipline your kids and this and this and that. And it's just like, I'm doing my best to discipline my kids.
What is his definition of discipline?
His, I guess, is more like spanking and I don't know what he considers discipline.
Did you see him put the sock in Jordan's mouth and put him in a corner?
One time I did, yes. And I didn't like it. I didn't.
Did he make Jordan sit in the closet?
Not that I know of. Not that I know of, but it can't no say when I step out or, you know, something like that. But as far as the closet goes, I know my kids play in the closet. That's all I know. You know, my kids love to sit there and hang on the little bar thingy. And one time I caught my little one just sitting on the shelf up there. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? You know, typical kids.
Playhouse.
You know? But as far as that, I don't know. But my Jordan didn't deserve any of this. None. You know, like I'm screaming and he's sitting there choking me.
Let me ask you this. Is he, what you described to me about Jordan losing weight in his arms while developing a pot belly, that's malnutrition.
See, you can, even when you talk to my daughter, that's why I thought something was wrong going on with his kidney.
Okay, but
because he was losing the weight, he was doing, you know, but...
I'm not saying you did this. My question is that some sort of discipline that he does to this child?
No.
Does he withhold food from him?
No. That's why none of us ever thought it would have been anything like that. Me, I thought it was his kidney because when he eat, everybody eat. All my kids eat first. I served every single last kid of mine first. And my daughter and my son, anybody can tell you. When I cook big meals. And Jordan, he was one to always eat. Always. We got pizza, he eats like 5-6 pieces of pizza. And you know, it's surprising me because he was like, where do you put it, Jordan? You know, like, I mean, he always ate. That's why it surprised me when he started kind of losing his appetite. And I used to have to sit with him and say, Jordan, you got to at least eat something. At least take a couple bites.
Well,
you know,
when
because
does
I
he
never
begin-
had that problem with him.
When does he begin losing his appetite?
I don't know the specific date. I mean,
Roughly.
Like 2 months.
Summertime, springtime, wintertime?
I could say it was about maybe summer, early summer. You know, he started losing appetite. I got him to at least drink something. I don't, like some behaviors where I saw were uncalled for. Sometimes Jordan will wake up. I mean, remember how I told you, like, with his rocking?
That's a signature. I don't mean to...
No, he's always did that ever since
right.
when he was
That's
baby.
sort of a signature of children who have spent time in an incubator or children who are autistic. They will rock and self-soothe themselves.
See, that's the first time I heard that. Because I even
self-soothing
asked the doctor too, and I was like, why does he do that? I guess
self-soother.
Because I wasn't there to, rock him and cuddle him, and until he was 4 months. That was what he used to do. And then used to get up in the middle of the nighttime. I used to, like, he would sleepwalk. So I would, sometimes have to keep an extra eye on him. Because I caught him one time going to the bathroom, getting toilet water and drinking toilet water. And I'm looking like, why is he, is he even alert when he's doing this? It would be like certain behavior, and I used to have to stop him. He'd go straight to the refrigerator. I don't even know if he's like awake when he's doing this or if he's sleeping or, it's just things I had to watch out with him. And he would just like get into anything and everything. And I noticed that when he did it, even after Jordan was gone, my other son was doing it. My other little son, my 4-year-old. And I'm looking like, is it because he watched Jordan do it? Or why is he doing the same thing that Jordan was doing?
It's a good question. I don't know.
I mean, is it a behavioral thing? I mean, it's just something that I recognize that. Jordan used to do that. And it was just, and Jordan was perfectly fine. It was just something I felt like in that house too. Like it was not really wanting us there. Like a sense of something. And I guess I don't know if you guys heard about this, but I found out after I moved there. Because when I went to see the house, it had a caution thingy wrapped around it. Kind of like on the front bush. And I looked like maybe it was just for a Halloween decoration or something. But the neighbors and somebody had told me that actually a father had killed his son. Or something happened there. So it kind of like, like, wait a minute, this house is just like bad luck. And I mean, Jordan's behaviors didn't start till we moved there in that house. I never seen Jordan behavior act any different. His behavior just changed. It's just like I had to observe him a lot more there. Things that he was doing, I never seen him do.
Well, to be fair, by the time you move there, he's really developing. An autistic child may be a little bit delayed.
Right, and he was 3 months delayed.
He's probably even more delayed than that. If we didn't get him into school. But he's developing into himself at age 3. So is it a coincidence? I don't know. Is there something to do with this house? Perhaps.
Christopher was interviewed as well, but I could not find any recordings of those conversations. You're probably wondering, as I was, if anyone had reported the abuse that Jordan was enduring, or where CPS was in all of this, since Larissa was well known to them. In a disturbing twist to this case, it was uncovered that Larissa was in cahoots with a social worker in a SNAP benefits scheme. Oh yes, corruption to its core that added in Jordan's murder. SNAP, short for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, also previously known as food stamps, is designed for low-income families to supplement their monthly food budget. These benefits are supposed to ensure children in low-income families receive healthy food. SNAP will gather information on the family's income and how many children are living in the home and calculate an amount of money added to a state-issued debit card every month that is to be used for buying groceries. There are prohibited items, and they include alcoholic beverages, tobacco products, hot food, any food intended for immediate on-premises consumption, like restaurants and fast food, non-food items, such as pet foods, soaps, paper products, medicines and vitamins, household supplies, grooming items, and cosmetics. Nancy Carabello, a parent educator at an agency contracted with Catholic Charities, was assigned to the family of Larissa Rodriguez by CPS. Nancy was supposed to conduct monthly home visits to check on Larissa's children and their living conditions and file a report with CPS. But during the investigation, it was found through phone records that on at least 12 occasions, Nancy would show up to Larissa's home, and instead of checking on the children and inspecting the home, she would pick up Larissa's SNAP benefits card, pay Larissa 50 cents on every dollar on the card in exchange for filing false reports on the welfare of the children and the condition of the home. Investigators also found surveillance camera footage of Nancy using Larissa's SNAP card to buy groceries at Sam's Club, Walmart, Giant Eagle, and other stores. According to Nancy, the whole scheme was Larissa's idea. She was just brainwashed into thinking she was helping Larissa. Because of Nancy's corruption and greed, Jordan suffered in silence, using the system created to protect Jordan for her own personal gain. I mean, my God, lady, you did this for groceries? She may not have laid a hand on Jordan, but in my opinion, she is equally culpable in his murder. Larissa and Christopher were ultimately charged with involuntary manslaughter, felonious assault, endangering children, and offenses against a human corpse.
The detectives Remington and Diaz, I certainly know that your job is very difficult. And I look at these photographs, and it's very hard. And I think you should be recognized more for the difficulty of what you do. And the same to the state. And to the defense, this is equally difficult for you. What we do every day is so hard. People don't give any of us the credit that we deserve for dealing with the horrors that are brought before us. And Mr. Rodriguez, this is a horror. I know as a judge I'm not supposed to show emotion. And in 22 years, I never have. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. And I don't understand, Mr. Rodriguez, why you don't want to cleanse yourself and tell the truth about what happened here. And I hope someday you do. Whatever this child's life was supposed to be, you make sure it didn't happen. You and Larissa. I look at friends and family, people who are desperate to have children and want to have families, and you two have babies with no consideration. You just keep having them, disregarding the value of their life, disregarding their purpose in life, like they're less than an object, no regard. I didn't even hear you say you were sorry. I will not accept the recommendation for Mr. Rodriguez. These crimes are horrific. There's no question in my mind that this child was abused. It's clear that you did everything you could, you and Larissa, to hide evidence to protect yourselves. You had every opportunity at so many points to make a difference. to get help, to stop beating somebody, to call the police, to ask for help, to try to take him to the hospital. I have to imagine that at some point you got on the internet and said, how do I bury a body? Because this is unbelievable to me. The level of meticulousness that you went through to not be discovered. I honestly don't know how you live with yourself. I don't know how either one of you live with yourself. The court imposed a sentence as follows. Count 1, involuntary manslaughter, felony of the first degree, 11 years in prison. Count 2, felony of the second degree, felonious assault, 8 years in prison. Count 3, felony of the second degree, 6 years in prison. Count 5, abuse of a corpse, felony of the fifth degree, 9 months in prison. Counts 1, 2, and 3 to be served consecutive to each other and concurrent to the sentence imposed in count 5 for a total sentence of 25 years. The sentence is to be served concurrent to the sentence previously imposed in 625-508 for a total sentence of 25 years. Your sentence is as follows. Count 1, involuntary manslaughter, 11 years in prison. Count 2, felony of the second degree, felonious assault, 8 years in prison. Count 3, felony of the second degree, 8 years in prison. Count 5, abuse of a corpse, 1 year in prison, all counts to be served consecutive to each other with credit for any time served. That's a total sentence of 28 years. That's the maximum sentence available.
Nancy Carabello was ultimately prosecuted for her crimes and sentenced to 3 years in prison.